This place wants us scared. It wants us fighting each other instead of fighting back.
The Season 4 finale of From did not just close out a chapter, it detonated an entire foundation that fans have spent 4 years standing on, and the wreckage it left behind has set up a final season that could be the most devastating, most revealing, and most emotionally overwhelming chapter this show has ever produced. Will Jade and Tabitha finally unlock the secret hidden in those bones beneath the bottle tree? Will Boyd find a way to survive a town that has now stripped away every last defense the residents ever had? Can Victor hold the weight of everything he now knows about his father Henry and about himself? Is Fatima gone forever, or has the town simply transformed her into something unrecognizable? Is the boy in white working against the residents, or is Sophia the one who has led everyone into the trap? Every single one of those questions has an answer, and this breakdown covers all of them. The single most important moment in the Season 4 finale, the moment that every fan is going to keep replaying until Season 5 arrives, is Sophia collecting the talismans and throwing every last one of them into the trunk of the Faraway Tree. That single act is not just a plot development. It is the total collapse of every protection the township has ever relied upon. For 4 seasons, fans watched the residents of Fromville fight, grieve, and cling to survival with one consistent anchor. Those talismans were the wall between them and the creatures after dark. The creatures could not enter a structure protected by one. It was the rule that governed every nighttime scene the show had ever built, and the residents staked their children's lives on that rule every single night. And now that anchor is gone. The visual of Sophia standing at that tree, clutching those talismans with something close to satisfaction in her expression, is truly shocking, because it reveals that she was never on the side fans assumed she was on. However, the situation is far more complicated than it first appears, because Sophia did not make that decision alone. The boy in white told her directly, in their first on-screen interaction, that she was going to lose this round. Her decision to throw the talismans into the faraway tree appears to be defiance, an attempt to deny the boy in white his victory by tearing up the rules of the game entirely. That reframing makes her decision feel almost sympathetic, which is precisely why it is so dangerous. However, unfortunately, even if her intentions are not entirely malicious, the outcome for every survivor left in that town is catastrophic. Boyd, Tabitha, Jade, Victor, and everyone still breathing in Fromville now face the darkness without a single talisman remaining, and the creatures that roam after nightfall answer to nothing except those protections. The good news, if any can be found in that wreckage, is that the Season 4 finale also confirmed that escape routes may now be physically opening up. The earthquake that struck immediately after the sky darkened created a genuine breach in the tunnel system beneath the town, and that breach is what allowed Jade and Tabitha to reach the surface. That is not coincidence. That is the town reacting to what Sophia did. However, unfortunately, every exit the town opens appears to come at a price, and the price this time may be Fatima. The most likely explanation for what Sophia's actions in the Season 4 finale actually represent is that she is not a villain in the traditional sense. She is a piece being moved on a board by 2 forces that have been in conflict far longer than any of the current residents have been alive. The evidence of this is visible in the finale itself. The boy in white's comment that Sophia was going to lose this round uses language that implies an ongoing, cyclical contest. The word round does not describe a single event. It describes a game with multiple iterations, which aligns precisely with what fans have theorized across 4 seasons, that Fromville has swallowed and destroyed multiple groups of people before the current residents, and that each cycle ends with a reset of some kind. The bones that Jade and Tabitha recovered beneath the bottle tree almost certainly belong to a previous cycle's survivors, people who got as close to the truth as the current group and were erased before they could finish the job. And if this theory proves correct, The consequences for Boyd are enormous. It would mean that everything he has sacrificed, every person he has watched die, every decision he has made as the town's protector has happened before, possibly dozens of times, and someone or something has been erasing the evidence each time the residents get too close. The most chilling implication of the cycle theory is what it means for the residents' memories. If the town can reset, it can also selectively preserve and erase knowledge. Victor has been in Fromville longer than anyone, and his fractured memory, the gaps, the drawn images, the things he cannot explain, may not be a symptom of childhood trauma alone. They may be the scars of a partial reset that did not fully take. But that development raises an even more dangerous question about the man in yellow, whose role in the cycle theory is the most contested and emotionally charged debate fans are currently having. The evidence strongly suggests that the man in yellow and the boy in white are not working together. They are opposing forces, and the current residents have been caught in the crossfire of a conflict that predates the town itself. The proof of this tension is threaded throughout the series. The man in yellow has consistently appeared to specific characters, Jade, Tabitha, the children, in ways that feel almost like warnings, while the boy in white has consistently operated through human proxies, using Sophia in Season 4, the same way the town appears to have used other figures in previous cycles. Fans watching the Season 4 finale closely will notice that the red lightning that shot out of the graveyard and into the storm clouds appeared immediately after the boy in white's confrontation with Sophia, not before. That sequencing matters. The evidence points to the red lightning being a response to what the boy in white attempted, not a signal of his victory. And if that is correct, the consequences for the understanding of the town's structure are enormous. The graveyard, the bottle tree, and the talismans may all belong to the man in yellow's side of this conflict, meaning Sophia just handed the boy in white exactly what he needed. However, unfortunately, this theory also means that the figure fans have feared most across 4 seasons may be the closest thing Fromville has to a protector, which would make Victor's survival of his confrontation with his father Henry in the finale even more significant, since Victor's the only person alive who has existed in the town long enough to have witnessed both forces operating across time. The third theory, and the one that connects everything the show has built across 4 seasons into a single devastating conclusion, centers on the story-walking ability that the show introduced through Julie and Randall and then appeared to quietly abandon. What the show appears to be building toward is a revelation that story-walking was never abandoned at all. It was simply redirected. When Julie's story walked into the past and failed to prevent Jim's death at the hands of the man in yellow, fans and the characters themselves concluded that story walking could not change events, that it was a passive observation tool, nothing more. However, the evidence now available suggests that conclusion was wrong, and that the show deliberately led fans to that interpretation in order to land a harder reversal in the final season. The Polaroid that got Elgin killed, the one in which some fans have spotted what appears to be Julie standing near Sophia, is the proof the trailer has been pointing toward all along. If that figure is indeed Julie, it means story-walking can place a person not just in the past as a witness, but as a participant capable of being photographed. And if Julie can be photographed in a moment from the past, it means she was physically present, which means the rules about story-walking were never fully understood by anyone, including the characters who used it. The consequences for Boyd and the other survivors are enormous. If Julie can story-walk into a moment before the talismans were destroyed and physically intervene, the catastrophe Sophia triggered in the Season 4 finale may not be permanent. However, unfortunately, every theory the show has introduced about ways to fight the town has come with a price that the characters did not anticipate, and the price of successful story-walking, of actually changing a moment in Fromville's history, remains completely unknown. The most logical conclusion, based on everything the show has established about the cost of power in this town, is that reversing what Sophia did would require someone to stay behind, What makes the final push into Season 5 even more meaningful is the question of what Jade and Tabitha's visions have been building toward, and why the show's creators confirmed in a Reddit AMA that those two characters, along with Miranda and Victor, are the only 4 souls in Fromville connected to the original supernatural thread. The creators said explicitly that many of the answers to the show's biggest mysteries are buried in the very first episode of the series, and that detail becomes more significant once fans understand what the visions may actually be. The evidence across 4 seasons points to a single quietly devastating conclusion: those 4 characters did not arrive in Fromville by accident. The trailer for Season 5 has not yet been released, but based on what the finale established, the most logical explanation is that their visions, those repeating images of the lighthouse, the ghost children, the symbols carved into stone, are not warnings. They are instructions. Each vision is one piece of an escape mechanism that can only be assembled by the 4 people who can perceive it. The tragedy of Jade's situation is visible in how long he has resisted his visions, treating them as symptoms of madness rather than as the map they appear to be. Every fan who has followed Jade's journey will feel this realization land with particular weight, because it reframes 4 seasons of his suffering as not pointless but purposeful, which is both a relief and a devastation simultaneously. While the battle over the talismans and the supernatural war between the man in yellow and the boy in white dominate the conversation going into Season 5, there is another storyline quietly unfolding in the background that every fan needs to pay attention to: the transformation of Fatima. When Fatima completed her conversion into one of the creatures at the end of Season 4, the show made a narrative choice that it has never made before. It turned a beloved, fully realized character into the very thing that has hunted the residents for 4 seasons, and it framed that transformation as an act of love. Fatima chose to become a creature in order to protect Boyd, Ellis, Jade, and Tabitha from the others pursuing them through the tunnels. The weight of what Fatima is now carrying, trapped in a form she did not choose, having sacrificed her humanity for people she loves, is visible even in the brief footage shown in the Season 4 finale, and the question it leaves hanging over every fan who watched her make that choice is whether Boyd even understands what she gave up. The question every fan is divided on is whether Fatima retained any part of herself in that transformation, or whether the Fatima that Boyd loves is genuinely gone. The evidence from the show suggests that the creatures are not mindless. They follow rules, they respond to talismans, and they appear to have some internal hierarchy. That level of organized behavior implies retained cognition, which means Fatima may still be aware. However, unfortunately, awareness without agency may be the cruelest possible outcome, and if Fatima is conscious inside that creature form, watching herself pursue the people she fought to protect, the emotional consequence for that storyline in Season 5 would be devastating in a way the show has never previously attempted. Her arc connects directly back to the main conflict. If creatures can retain their personality, as Fatima's case may demonstrate, then the creatures themselves become potential allies rather than simple obstacles. And that single shift could restructure everything fans believe about how escape from Fromville is possible. After everything the Season 4 finale revealed, after all the theories and all the questions it raised, and all the devastation it left behind, the one question that every single fan is now focused on is the simplest and most important of all. When does Season 5 actually air? The confirmed information available right now is this: production on From Season 5 is scheduled to begin later in 2026 in Halifax, Nova Scotia, which is where the series has been filmed since the very first episode. MGM Plus has officially confirmed the renewal and the final season. And the creators, John Griffin, Jeff Pinkner, and Jack Bender, have stated in a joint announcement that the final season will bring the story to its intended conclusion, with questions answered and the ending the show always planned now finally within reach. Creator John Griffin confirmed in an interview that 5 seasons was always the goal, and that continuing beyond season 5 would have been driven by emotional attachment rather than story necessity, which means everything landing in the final season is landing exactly where it was always intended to land. No exact premiere date has been announced, but based on the production timeline and the heavy post-production demands of a visual effects-intensive series like From, the current expectation is a 2027 premiere window on MGM+, with episodes also available on Amazon Prime Video for subscribers with the MGM+ add-on. Based on everything the production timeline has confirmed so far, the wait is going to be significantly shorter than most fans are expecting. And based on what the Season 4 finale revealed, that wait is going to feel very long indeed. Now the conversation moves to the fans. The debate that is splitting the fan base right now comes down to 2 possibilities. Is Sophia a villain who consciously chose to destroy the talismans, knowing exactly what it would cost the residents who trusted her? Or is she a pawn of the boy in white who genuinely believed she was making the only choice available to her? And does that distinction even matter when the people left behind are now completely defenseless? And the second question that nobody can stop debating is Fatima still conscious inside the creature form she has taken? And if she is, does that mean Boyd will eventually have to choose between destroying the creature standing in front of him and saving the woman he loves? The video on screen covers everything else fans need to know before Season 5 drops.